Okay, so this case, Hawkins versus McGee, is the one that the movie Paper Chase is made about. I had said previously that it was the one about Putney where the student in the classroom taps another student on the foot, but it's not. It's the hairy hand, and you could connect the H in Harry with the H in Hawkins. If that helps you, that's going to help me. You could also probably watch the movie to help you remember the which one is related to that, and to give you a scaffold to help you remember this. So, this one, this case is important because it it discusses a breach of contract. It talks about the medical field. What happened was there there was okay, so this child had an accident. He put his hand on an outlet. You can see it was in 1929, so there's probably a lot of faulty wiring happening, and he burned the palm of his hand. Well, a doctor said he could guarantee 100% that he could restore uh, this hand. And so he did a skin graft, having never done one before, and it was effective. But he used the young man's chest, some skin from his chest, so therefore it grew hair on his hand later, and so there became a series of court cases happening. And um, what ended up being the finding of this case is that the doctor was liable for damages between the expected outcome and what was the actual outcome. The attorney, the side for the defendant, argued, well, it would be reasonable to know that anytime there's any kind of medical procedure, there are risks. But the court decided, no, what's reasonable would be to think that it would be 100% restored like a hand if that is what is promised. So, um, the breach of contract is what it was considered, that when a physician makes a guarantee like that, that's the expectation. So, in addition to this, the doctor ended up, the medical malpractice wouldn't cover it, wouldn't cover the damages, so he sued the medical malpractice company. um, but their position, and the company won, because their position was it wasn't a matter of negligence. The doctor is liable in this situation with the hairy hand because of a breach of contract, not because the skin graft didn't work, not because he didn't practice medicine correctly. It was the contract that he made that guaranteed 100%. So, looking at some of my notes here, so he found that the doctor's promise to make a hand 100% good was a binding contract. So, physicians and medical professionals will probably, most people, and in fact, it was the doctor, the defendant, um, who had sought after making this promise, wanting to do this surgery, wanting to solicited. The doctor had solicited the plaintiff and guaranteed this outcome. So the final ruling established that damages for breach of contract should equal the difference between the value of a perfect hand and the value of an actual hairy hand. So that's what's important about this is established brief of contract damages. So the court determined that Hawkins was entitled to the value of the expectation of a perfect hand, not just the loss of the original condition. So that's significant. And the court also ruled that damages for pain and excluded damages. It says the court ruled that damages for pain and suffering from the operation should not be included because the plaintiff would have endured that pain even if the surgery was successful. So, what they looked at for determining damages was the breach of contract, the damage of expected outcome over actual, over what was the actual income. It's important for contract law. The final settlement was 1,400. It did go back and forth some, so but that's the ultimate outcome and ruling. Um, so how the question before the court was how to measure damages in a medical malpractice, how to measure damages in medical malpractice, and the court defined that the measure to be expected damages, the difference in the value of the postoperative hand and the perfect hand promised by the physician. So, under this, if a physician guarantees a perfect hand following an attempted skin graft operation but provides a poorly functioning hand that sprouts hair from the palm, the plaintiff is entitled to be awarded the difference in value between the hand promised and the hand provided, plus incidental damages. The plaintiff is not entitled to recover for pain and suffering of impairment.